Buffalo Bills 2023 training camp could very well make or break these top players for the Buffalo Bills. We have to discuss it. Guys like Kingsley Jonathan, Shane Ray, Leonard Floyd, all mixing in this defensive end group here. And we all know this is an awfully deep group. A lot of draft picks for Bills Mafia and some other positions that we need to dive into in this video. But welcome to my channel here, Bills News Consolidated. Training camp is kicking off with the rookies reporting yesterday. But the depth, the talent on this team, it's going to be hard and ferocious. And there are some players on this team that are make and break players for the Buffalo Bills. Now, you listen to interviews. You even listen to Chris Brown, Steve Tasker, Sean McDermott. A lot of people are very high on Kingsley Jonathan, a defensive end, kind of an unknown name sitting in the background for the Buffalo Bills. A speedier type edge rusher, can hold his own against the run, and he's going to be competing against guys like Boogie Basham, who is a number on my list here, who is a make or break player for the Buffalo Bills. AJ Epinesa is also there as well for me. I think AJ Epinesa, being drafted the year before Boogie Basham and Greg Rousseau, they really need to step up this year, especially with the additions, bringing in a guy like Shane Ray, who knows, he could make this roster, he might not make this roster, playing on that Super Bowl team with Von Miller, having that relationship with Von Miller, as well as Leonard Floyd, playing on a Super Bowl with the LA Rams and Von Miller. So we know what these players are fully capable of. We know that they know what it takes to get to the Super Bowl. Now, AJ Epinesa, Boogie Basham, both high draft picks for the Buffalo Bills. Will the Buffalo Bills maybe part ways, potentially trade them before the season even starts? Now, that would not be ideal. You know, getting something back for a draft pick is definitely nice. But when you draft a player, you're expecting him to stay here, to be productive, to grow into the player you ultimately want them to be. Now, my thing with them is that they really haven't had a lot of playing time. You know, you got Greg Rousseau, you got Von Miller, we had Jerry Hughes, Mario Addison, Trent Murphy even going back, right? A lot of guys mixing in that defensive end spot. So who is going to make or break on this defensive line, especially at that defensive end position? If Kingsley Jonathan steps up, which he very well could, we're hearing a lot of good positive notes from him, we shall see. Now, next on my list is clearly wide receiver. Gabe Davis, you know, catching a lot of flack last year, did halfway decent, battled through injury, had still almost 1,000 yards receiving, close to double-digit touchdowns. I mean, Gabe Davis is definitely fully capable of being a true number 2 wide receiver in this league. And I really think Gabe Davis being hurt with that injury, also just losing Jamison Crowder and just kind of like this dysfunction on this offensive line last year, Gabe Davis should really be the best version of himself in 2023. Now, we did bring in Justin Shorter, a rookie, a big-time question mark, but Brandon Beane was stating that this kid has a real shot at making this team because of his ability on special teams. So if he could play special teams, kind of like a Jake Kumaro type role, who he lost, I think he could definitely contribute, mix in there when Trent Sherfield, Gabe Davis, and Justin Shorter on the perimeter, on the outside, doing those jump ball, high ball situations. You know, when you got to get in those 50-50 jump balls, if your back is up against the wall, if you just need one big chunk play to maybe win the game or get in the field goal range at the end of the game, why not throw it up to a Justin Shorter? You know, why not throw it up to a big, tall, physical guy and just make it a 50-50 ball? Because that's exactly what it is. 50-50 balls, you never know who's going to come down with it. But a guy like Justin Shorter, freak of nature, could definitely mix in there and take some snap counts away from Gabe Davis, even Trent Sherfield. Now, I know both could play the slot. We've seen Gabe Davis line up in the slot, Trent Sherfield in the slot, but we also have Deontay Hardy in the slot. That's going to be huge. Keep in mind, Nyheim Hines could also bump out into the slot as well, and Khalil Shakir. So we have to keep that in mind. Make or break for Gabe Davis. We really need to see a little bit more consistency from Gabe Davis in 2023. And having a higher snap count, being utilized on a more higher percentage, maybe that hindered Gabe Davis. And maybe the Buffalo Bills say, hey, look, that's why we brought in Trent Sherfield, to redo that rotation with Emmanuel Sanders and Gabe Davis, right? Having always that veteran presence there, rotating with Gabe. I think he does very well in those types of situations, being 110% every time that ball is snapped on the field versus being 90% or being a little bit winded. I think that's huge. Now, another player on my list here is Spencer Brown. Spencer Brown, is definitely a make or break player here because of what happened last year. I think Spencer Brown took a major step back, simply probably due to not having a full off season, working on himself. And, they said it very well. When taller player tackles, real long tackles, like 6'8", 6'9" tackles, the endurance factor, their strength and conditioning in the offseason is even more important. They have to work out. They have to bulk up. Otherwise players can get under them. And if they're not able to do that, they really get beat bad. So Spencer Brown having a full offseason should definitely step up, but we have some guys there. Brandon Shell, an excellent tackle that's going to be rotating in there, mixing in this training camp, competing with Spencer Brown. I really got to see. I think last year, those memorable moments, we really put a lot of value on giving Spencer Brown a lot of those moments. You don't want to not start one of your draft picks, right? You want to give them that experience, especially if you believe they're going to be a starting right tackle for you. So we gave them that experience last year. We got to see how that is all going to shake out. There are a lot of different players, make or break players here for the Buffalo Bills. A lot on this defensive line. You got Gabe Davis, and you have Spencer Brown on the offensive line. We really need to see what is going to happen with the cornerback position as well. Kaiir Elam, Christian Benford, or Dane Jackson. How is this going to shake out? Former first-round pick, Kaiir Elam, mixing in with two seventh-round picks, Dane Jackson and Christian Benford. I mean, these guys have just gritted their way to the NFL. They continue to grit their way while in the NFL because they just have chips on their shoulders and they've been overlooked. So Kaiir Elam mixing in with these players that are just scraping and fighting for jobs in the NFL. Nothing was given to them. And I really believe Kaiir Elam needs to step up. I'm not going to say it's a make or break year for Kaiir Elam, but I really believe he needs to step up big time this year. He's got the traits. He's got the physical skill set. He's got everything he needs to be a dominant opposite corner of Trey White, a lockdown corner. We just need to have a little bit more consistency. And I think one thing with Khalil Shakir Kaiir Elam last year was that he just played so reckless. And I think we really feared that he would hurt himself. From the game film study that I saw, and I did release a video last year, he was just so reckless and he would just fly around the football and try to make plays. Wasn't necessarily asked to tackle in college, but was very committed to doing it in the NFL. And I don't know if the technique was sound, and I think we really are trying to take care of Elam there. So, but if you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys think of anyone else that this could be a make or break year training camp for this Buffalo Bills player, drop a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Hit like, subscribe. Check you guys soon. Go Bills.